Okay, so the next thing about finding your target audience is, honestly, you could be selling to like middle-aged women. Okay, obviously their budget is going to be, it probably might be more than a female that's in high school or male. Or also there's like older women that you could sell to. So it depends on who your target audience is. They're all gonna have different budgets, and that will be the way that you do your pricing also. Because if you're selling to younger females and they don't have enough as much money as someone who has a career and they're making more money, obviously they're not going to be able to spend as much money on your product. So that's finding your target audience, just finding who it is that you're selling to, the message that you're sending across to them, and that will also tie into the type of branding that you do. Because you know, certain things will be appealing, like certain colors that you may use, your packaging, all of that can appeal to your different target audience. You might use something completely different from when you're selling to younger females rather than when you're selling to women who are middle-aged or older. All of that will tie in. So the second thing, how to find a vendor for certain brands. If you are, this is another reason why I said starting with $0 is possible, but for me personally it's not realistic. If I'm starting with $0, first of all, when finding your vendor, you want to sell the best hair possible. You don't want to just come out with a hairline and people are talking bad about it, like the hair is not good, it sheds too much. Don't get me wrong, all hair sheds, that's number one. Or like the quality is not good. There's so many different things that they could say about it. If you don't, first of all, when finding your vendor, if you don't test out your vendor for a period of time, let's say that you find, number one, that first vendor that you find is probably not going to be the vendor that you always end up with. At the moment, like personally for me, I have several vendors that I order hair from, because I sell, number one, I sell different types of hair. I sell different type of hair for different budgets, because there's a different type of people that buy the hair. So I sell hair that's going to be profitable or affordable for every different price person. Yeah, so you have to test out that vendor for a good amount of time before you feel as though, you know what, this is the one. And even when you feel like that is the one, you should always have a backup, because most of these vendors, okay, like for instance, there's certain people who buy hair from Chinese companies. I'm not gonna bash them and be like, oh, something's wrong with that, but okay, they go on vacation, they have times where they're not available. Now your other vendor is available. You don't want it to be that you're selling hair or having a product, and especially when you're starting with $0, so which means that you're probably not buying, a large amount of inventory. So with that being said, you're probably going to either do drop shipping or you're going to order here when your orders are placed. With that being said, if your vendor is on vacation or they're not taking orders at that time, and you randomly get a mass amount of orders on your website, so what's going to happen now? They're going to say, where's my hair? I've ordered my hair over a week ago or some days ago. I haven't gotten a tracking. It's still processing. You're going to get a bunch of questions that you're not going to be able to answer because your vendor is on vacation. Therefore, you cannot get these people their hair. So when this happens, this is the reason why you want multiple vendors. You want more than one to stay away from this problem. With that being said, you will always be able to have hair to send out, if that's the type of business that you have. If you're just doing drop shipping, then that's different, obviously. But yeah, so how to find your vendor. So I'm going to be giving away free vendor information, and when I say free, this is not like a scam and I'm going to be like, oh, it's free, but then you have to give me money or something. When I say free, I mean free. Simple thing for you guys to do. Number one, you just have to make sure you subscribe to my channel, and after that, I want you guys to email me bluxe, I don't know why I was about to write that, bluxebeautybar@gmail.com. BLUXE beauty, you guys know how to spell that, bar@gmail.com. And you're gonna email me and let me know what type of vendor information that you would like. This is no, there's no catch. There's 3 different vendors that I will be providing. Number 1, a packaging vendor. Number 2, I will be providing a Brazilian hair vendor. And number 3, I will also be providing a silk bonnet vendor, because I know that these are 3 things that people usually sell. I'm thinking I might have an eyelash vendor that I'll be including also, but you guys have to subscribe to my channel and email me and let me know, like, just tell me your name, let me know that you subscribed and everything, and then when you're done, just comment below and say I emailed you. Put a little heart, whatever you want to put. Just let me know that you emailed me, so I know where it's coming from. I know that you ever did it. Okay, so with that being said, finding your vendor is probably the most tedious process, and I think that's the part that takes up the most amount of money, because like my vendor, okay, let's say someone, nowadays I see people like selling vendor lists. Okay, if the person, you trust them, but that doesn't mean that the quality of hair that they believe is A1 is what you think is A1. So they might say that this is the best hair on the market, and then you try that same vendor and you're like, no, it's not. This is not what I want to sell to my customers. So with that being said, sometimes people stay away from vendor lists, which I completely understand, unless it's someone that you know their hair is really good, you want to be selling hair from the same vendor as them, then that's completely different. But yeah, so when doing that, you want to spend a good amount of time finding the perfect vendor. You want to be able to try out different vendors, and on top of that, you want to wear the hair yourself, or if it's like family members that you want to give to them and say, hey, like, I want you to like install this, or if they're gonna make it into a wig, let them make it into a wig and everything, and have them try it out and wear it for a certain amount of months. Like, literally do everything with the hair. When I first started testing out vendors, when I would get the hair, I would bleach it, dye it, install it, take it out, install it again. Like, if it's curly hair, straighten it, make sure that hair curls back every single time, because these are things that people are going to come to you about and say, like, and criticize you on, like, oh, I got the curly hair, I straightened it, it didn't come back, it didn't get back curly. Personally, I don't straighten curly hair, only for the simple fact that's why I buy straight hair. I like to leave my hair in the natural state of that it is. That's just me. Some people, you know, some people don't have enough money that they're gonna sit here and buy 5 different textures, which is what some people do. But some people only have enough money to buy 1 texture, and then that's gonna be their everyday hair, and they do everything with it. So those are certain things to look out for. But yeah, so you want to do everything with that hair to make sure that this hair is what you want to be selling to your customers. And on top of that, you want to make sure that this is hair that you would wear. And when I say that, like, literally, I only wear my hair. I make sure that the hair I'm selling is hair that I want to wear also, because you can't expect to sell something that you wouldn't buy yourself, you know. You gotta make sure that this is something that you will be wearing yourself. So how to find a vendor, there's different ways. Like, okay, I am English, she does this trip every year where I believe they go to China. I don't know what country it is, but I know that she goes on a trip with entrepreneurs and helps them. She literally brings them to the source. So there's so many different ways, there's so many people who do it. Also reaching out to different companies. Okay, that's number 1. Some companies only sell to you if you have a wholesale license. If not, they're going to sell it to you at a retail price, which means that you're going to have to up your price, because if you're buying here at the retail price, obviously it's not going to be as cheap as the wholesale price, and to get it for the wholesale price, you have to have a wholesale license. With that being said, that's another process that is obviously going to cost money. You can't buy wholesale hair without a wholesale license if you're not going to pay for a wholesale license, which would mean that you need money. So how you starting with $0? But yeah, to find that vendor, there's so many different outlets. Honestly, there's a lot of websites. You can literally go to the source, you can go to these countries, you can visit them, You can find out where the factories are. And this is one thing, there's a difference between manufacturers and there are like actual factories. Manufacturers are the ones who actually make and sell the hair. Then you have the factories, that is the middleman, and then there will be you. You do not want a middleman. You want hair directly from the manufacturer who is selling it, because the manufacturers sell hair to factories, and then the factory sell it to you at their price. They already made a profit, which means now you need to make your profit, which you have to keep upping the price. And then on top of that, maybe they'll raise their prices, then your profit is not going to be as much, and then you have to raise your price. So you don't want to deal with that. So you don't want to deal with a middleman. You want to go directly to the source. And with that being said, you need to find a source. This is something that takes a lot of time, a lot of research. Like I said, some people sell vendorless. I sell vendorless. But today, like, I'll give you guys a vendor information. I'm only going to give one contact information per person. So I'm not going to give away like bunch of different vendors, because you guys have to do the work. It's not easy. Number 3, packaging. Packaging is so important, because presentation is what matters. It's what people look for. If you send them here in a brown bag, obviously they're gonna look at you like, what is this? So yeah, packaging. Finding a packaging vendor is not as hard as finding a vendor for your product. With packaging vendors, there's so many different ones. Obviously you want to find a good one though. You want to find one that's of good quality. You don't want to find one that, like, okay, like some people, they have the boxes. I do the little boxes. I'll insert a picture. But yeah, with the handles and everything, or a satin bag. Some people now, they're doing like the big mailer boxes. I feel like those take up a lot of space, and personally for me, maybe in the future I like them, but as of right now I don't, because people are gonna throw them away. It's number one. Like, when I used to order hair before I started selling hair myself, like, I used to order hair from Kendra's boutique, and I think like she sold them in like bags and stuff. That was cute. I really liked it. But like, as far as like the boxes, people are gonna throw them out. At least that's what I would do. I don't know about everyone else, but yeah. Marketing. You want to set aside a budget that you're gonna put aside that's gonna be strictly for marketing, because this is so important. Because you can't expect, honestly, this is one thing that you will learn. You cannot expect that everyone around you, like people who are acquaintances and stuff, to just spread the word, because most people aren't going to. Because most people aren't going to. You can expect that it's gonna happen, maybe they will, but most people won't. So this is up to you. Literally promote every day, but don't promote in an annoying way. Promote in a strategic way. You want to work smart, not hard. When I say that, I mean that you don't want to literally post the same thing all day on every single social media platform that you have, because people are gonna look at it like, okay, we get it, like, we get it. You want to be strategic about this. And then that also goes into finding a great graphic designer, because you want to be able to have flyers that are made that you can post, or even if it's not flyers. So I'm gonna give you guys, if you don't have enough money, okay, so now we're talking about starting with a small amount of money. If you don't have a lot of money to get a really good graphic designer, and one that I would recommend is Vision Box, Vizion Box. Look them up on Instagram. But if you don't have enough money to find a really good graphic designer, there is Canva. You know what? Yes, there is Canva. Canva, you can make some really cool flyers on there. There's a website called Template, TEMPLETT.com. Template, you can make a bunch of cool flyers there too. On Etsy, you can find graphic designers that sell flyers that are customizable for as low as $8, so that's not bad. You also want to set aside money for photo shoots. You might want to start photo shoots because you're going to need photos to put on these flyers. I mean, you could have a flyer that doesn't have any photos, but you also want something that's eye-catching. Don't get me wrong, you can make a flyer that's eye-catching without any photos. But this all goes into marketing, and this also goes into finding your target audience, because the type of photos that you use, type of colors that you're going to use in your flyers are all going to attract a certain type of buyer. And lastly, that I'm gonna leave you guys with today, saving on how to start your lastly what I'm gonna leave you guys with today, saving. I feel as though you should save a good amount of money. I'm gonna draw out a random number, 400. That amount of money. To a lot of vendors, they'll send you a sample batch where they will send you a sample, like a small ounce of hair of each type that you can use. The reason why I steered away from this and I just straight bought bundles, and that's the other thing, depends on the type of hair that you're selling. I sell raw hair. I specialize in raw hair. That's number one hair set that I sell. I also sell virgin hair, but I felt like I wanted to steer away and do something different. Not a lot of people sell raw hair, and that is where the market's leaning towards, mainly because like this hair is literally, I've had this hair for about to be 4 years, and it's still kicking, it's still going. This is raw hair, and I only wear raw hair. I sell virgin hair also. I will wear virgin hair like when I'm doing bobs and everything, but I prefer raw hair over virgin hair, only for the simple fact that there's a difference between them two, and I'm gonna make a whole video on that also, teaching difference, because I'm so tired of seeing certain things of people who are selling hair. I'm like, you guys supposed to know these things, but they don't. But that's gonna be a separate video. I'm not even getting into that right now. But yeah, back to saving. I wouldn't do a sample batch only because I want, they could send you a sample batch and it's probably the best hair that they have, and then when you start buying in bulk, it's not the same as a sample. Now what do? Now you're stuck. So I would buy the actual bundles and try it out myself, not just a sample batch. Getting a graphic designer, again, vision box. After that, like your photo shoot, you need money for that, obviously, and then you might want to get brand ambassadors. I'm gonna also make a separate video about that and how I feel about brand ambassadors. And yeah, I just personally, I don't think it's realistic to start with $0. You can, because there are drop shipping options, which will also be a separate video, because this one I don't want to make it too long. But yeah, there's just so much that you can do, and that's where I'm gonna wrap it up. So if you guys want a part 2 where I could go more in depth about certain things, whatever it is that you guys would like to hear about, comment down below. Also, if you are interested in getting vendor information, comment down below after you email me, bluxbeautybar@gmail.com.